pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome all on a snowy, blizzardy night. Approval of the bills. Is there any questions on the bills?
Already asked.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of the January 8th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 28th.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mayor's report. We'll start off with grants information. Our CFA Park grant, Courtney's been in contact with the state to discuss the grant and the administration of it. And we're going to be working with you, correct? As far as administering that, so we can meet all the compliance standards, so it's in good shape. We haven't heard anything back on the summer rec program grant as of yet. I'm expecting you very shortly. The GoArt grant, 2025, the Concert Park Series, 4 concerts have all been booked and locked in, so we're utilizing the grant money that we received from the county. Not the county, I should say GoArt. Just funding that grant, so thanks to GoArt for that grant. Sad to say we didn't get the Northern Borders Regional Commission Catalyst grant. That was for $1 million. That was to help offset the cost of our substation. We didn't get that grant. We were turned down. Gave it a good try. So. And we're still waiting on the nice cert upon 5737 grant for $200,000. We haven't heard yet on the outcome of that grant. So we're waiting.
Are there some other grants to
Not that I'm aware of. So again, we did get the 1.2 fast grant from New York State. We're taking advantage of the Genesee County funding in the amount of $5,000. They've been doing it for the last, I think, 3 years. They give it to municipalities, first come, first served basis. They give you the money to put towards a grant writer. So we have put that money towards a grant on our behalf for a comprehensive plan study and update. It's a joint with the town. Our last study was done in 2016, and that was also a joint venture comprehensive plan between the town and the village. So LaBelle Associates is going to be submitting that on our behalf and the town's behalf. The DOT, we did get one of the solar powered speed signs up and running. It's on Buffalo Road. We're heading east, and the other one is due to be put in the other end, coming in from the west. We're waiting for a little bit better weather to get that in. The one is in. I also did contact the DOT about all the potholes around here on 19. See if they'll come up, fill them in. I realize they got all the state routes in the county to take care of, but I did let them know that, you know, there's some pretty good ones out here, and please get out here and take care of them. Okay. That CAB meeting was canceled. It was scheduled for April 15th, got canceled. I'm sorry, it's rescheduled for April 15th. It was canceled last in January after the inclement weather. So the next one will be April 15th. Our Tree and Park Committee, we met. We're still waiting information from vendors on the park pavilion. And we had a lengthy discussion going over ideas for the farmers market we're planning for start in June. When we get all the details together on that farmer's market, we'll bring it before the whole board, so that everyone's on board with what we'd like to do and get your approval, okay? MUA is on here. I know in the report you sent out the minutes for the meeting, I believe it was a thing on there about the MUA and the NIPA situation about the rate increase.
The first resolution.
For the resolution. As of this morning, the governor put the whammy on the NIPA's rate increase. She turned it right down completely. And she said it was too much of an impact for the residents of New York State. People are already struggling as it is, and that would be a significant impact. So she told them to scrap the whole thing, and told them to go back to the drawing board and come up with a more feasible solution. So we no longer have that resolution that we have to pass tonight. All the MUA systems, we're going to do that at their board meetings, so we can send it to our assemblymen and congressmen and so on to fight it. The fight is over for now, and as time goes on, I'll keep you posted. Substation, we've got some of the engineering done. We've got the layout for the poles over along the old substation on Gibson. We're still waiting to close on that property. We do have to get in there and clear some trees. There's some big trees along that. And that's all got to get out of there. It'd be a threat to our substation. So we're doing that, and I'm staying in contact with the manufacturers for our substation equipment. They keep putting it off like a back order. A couple months each time I call. It's like 2 months out farther than it was. I did contact Oxbow up there and talk to them and explain the situation. And he's very understanding. And if we get him when we're scheduled, as of right now, we're still fine. But he said, don't stress yourself out over this. He goes, we've got an operation going, but we're going to do our best to get him in here and get in on time. So I keep calling to squeaky wheel gets greased, and hopefully we get the equipment in here in time. It's mainly the transformers, so we'll play it by ear, but hopefully they come in. That's it. That's all I got for you.
Okay. My report, you all already read it, so I'll just touch on a couple things. Under electric, the squirt boom, we had an accident on January 24th. Matt was driving the squirt boom, and he stopped to turn left onto Gibson Street, and a Ford Focus rear-ended him. He was uninjured. The driver had a cut on his head, totaled that vehicle, but the squirt boom itself, the bumper was bent, and the stairs that go up to the boom were bent, kind of smushed quite badly. So that same day I sent information and pictures to the insurance agency. Progressive is the driver's insurance. They accepted liability and started a claim. We were going back and forth. Unfortunately, the driver had the minimum amount of coverage possible. So that's $10,000, and the repair looks like it's going to be $14,000. So
But what does that mean for us then?
yeah, so our agency, not Nymer, but Lawley in Batavia. So we're going to go through Nymer. We're going to put the claim through Nymer, and then Nymer will try to recoup the money from Progressive. That way we will probably get more than $10,000. So we'll have to wait and see how that all goes. In the meantime,
that's the glory of no fault.
yeah.
That's what happens. If you can't afford it, then your insurance has to kick it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So It'll take a while to get fixed, so we just need to get the parts ordered. It'll take a while to come in, of course, but Matt wasn't hurt, and that's good.
Is it usable still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They can still drive it, and just
Okay.
more difficult getting
Yeah.
up in there, but Matt's young and he can do that.
Okay.
But the truck itself has had a number of different issues lately, from a brake issue. A couple months ago, it was in Syracuse for repair to the I don't know, Joe,
Oh, it was the bucket, the leveling system on it. Shims all inside all got worn out. So the bucket, you couldn't keep it level, it kept dropping down.
Is it back now from Circus?
yeah, it came back that week, and then a couple days later,
Okay.
it got smashed up.
Mhm.
So the repairs in Syracuse were $9,000, which is crazy. And then there's a fuel issue, and that went to Rich Road Repair, and then it's going into the dealership here in a couple days because the turbo is going bad. So.
Oh, okay, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's a new one. You know, it's, so, anyway, it's coming up on 10 years old, and that was our life expectancy of this vehicle. And it's has 70,000 miles on it. For one of our vehicles, that's a lot. And so my suggestion to the board is to, we start planning on purchasing a new one. If we order one, it takes about 2 years for us to get it. So I suggest that we get in line for the order. And I think in the first year, you can cancel if you need to. So.
I didn't realize that truck was 10 years old already.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it's, time flies. So that would be my suggestion. I think it's costing us a lot of money legally, and it's gonna take 2 more years, so I actually would suggest that, Nick is waiting for a quote, so once I get the quote, I'll bring it to you guys, and then.
You would do it the chassis stay big.
Yes.
Right, yep. The whole thing gets spec'd out and then bid,
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm also looking into, we talked previously about replacing the electric hybrid car. It's a 2019, something a little bit bigger. So I emailed the Power Authority. They have a program with incentives. I did that on Tuesday or Monday, and I still haven't heard back from them. So when I do, and I'll get information, I'll bring that to you all as well. The fiscal year 2023-24 has been closed, and the AFR has been submitted. It's a big moment for us. It's good. Yesterday, NYMER, a representative from NYMER, our insurance company, came out. They do kind of a walk around of our properties and look at our vehicles every couple of years, just to, if there's anything that from a safety or liability standpoint, they can point it out and we can fix it. So Joe and I sat with him for about an hour in my office going through different things, and then I took him on a tour of all our buildings. He'll come back and give us his findings in a few weeks, but just from walking around, there was nothing major that he was concerned about. Maybe some smoke detectors in office areas, in Quonset and other, not this building, but the other building. All in all, it was really good.
Any questions?
Yeah, where do we stand with the work that was gonna be done on the manholes? That's gotta be rebid now? Or what's the
I haven't
story?
heard anything about it for a little while. It's not something we probably want to do this time of year.
Right.
But from the last communication was that Errol, who won the bid, was trying to find a local contractor to do work for them.
Somehow.
And they've been having a hard time finding anybody to do it. So if it, yes, it's possible that if they won't do it, then we might have to rebid it.
did have one question. It was under the sewer, where it says Buffalo Road Lift Station had a heater. Where's the Buffalo Road Lift Station?
In front of Liberty Pumps up there. That little green hut.
Oh.
It's got a heater in there to keep everything from freezing. The pipes are above grade there, so they're in that little fiberglass shack. So you have to have a heater in there.
It's the only one of our lift stations that's above ground. And if all the rest are below ground, we don't have to worry about the temperature.
Hmm.
And one went in one of the control buildings of the substation too, that had to be replaced.
Hmm.
But they're easy, it's not a big, or not a big or expensive thing, but the two breakers that went in the, actually it was the Rochester's lift station, the two that went there. We got them in and Pierce replaced them, so everything's running properly now.
Oh, okay, good. So both pumps are working?
Yeah.
Okay. There's two pumps in there, and they rotate, so when you don't just wear one out, they kind of simultaneously. So it's nice when you got them both going, especially if you're down to one and then that one goes,
Yeah, you're in trouble.
you're in trouble, so.
I was picturing Buffalo Road, like where along Buffalo Road is or something.
Yeah.
So it's not really Buffalo Road.
Yeah.
It's not on Buffalo Road.
It's
But
considered
it's-
Buffalo Road.
Because it's pumping, relating to Buffalo Road.
Maybe it's Clinton Street Road, I don't know, is Buffalo Road there?
Yeah.
Kind
It's
of.
Yeah.
19 going east, it turns into Buffalo Road.
33.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when they had the fire up at the corner, they listed that as a Buffalo Road address.
So anything east of 19 is considered Buffalo Road, and then it actually turns, because the old days, it turns, then it turns down.
Turns into Chila Avenue then after
Then
that.
originally it turned down maybe towards Rose Garden, that's all
Yeah.
Buffalo Road, but yeah, over time it changed.
Okay.
So it does confuse us too when, the Buffalo Road address, they go,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't see Gary's report, do you?
No, he did not provide one.
Okay.
We did have a fire down at the repair shop on the corner of 19 and 33 last Friday. Car caught on fire, half in and half out of the garage, and damage.
Everyone's okay?
Yes, I believe so. I haven't talked to Gary to see what the extent of the damage was.
Pretty smoky, I'll tell you that.
It was.
Holy mackerel.
It sure was, yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the report of the officers?
I'll make a motion to accept the report of the officers.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Trustee concerns for the debt?
Do I have any trustee concerns?
Mike?
No, just guys been doing a great job with the snow.
Been,
Yeah, it's-
ongoing.
it's Every day.
Every
So
day.
they've been
They're out
there.
right now.
I hear them all the time, so, and the sidewalks are always looking
Yeah.
good. so.
They're getting tired.
Yeah.
They're getting run down.
It's icy, but it's,
It's
at least it's
very-
walkable.
Yeah.
So just want to say thanks to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob?
Just curious about the proposal for a speed change up by 490 and where the new Dollar General's going in. Do you know if any update on that?
Haven't heard a thing on it.
Okay.
The town's the head
Yeah.
lead on that. I don't believe Ernie's heard anything about it either. Last time I saw Ernie, I asked him about it. He still hadn't heard anything.
Okay.
So,
Okay, that's all I got.
Todd?
I go what Mike said, I think the DPW guys are doing a great job.
We'll make sure we relay that to them, all the guys, the
Yeah.
whole crew.
We saw the salt bill there, holy mackerel, $7,000 for salt.
Lucky to get it, too.
It was like $5, you know?
Lucky to get 3 loads in here.
Yeah.
It's on the news just about every night.
Are we doing
Yeah.
good with our salt?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
pretty full.
Good.
Yeah, it takes us a little longer to get than normal, but we've been getting it right along. We use we don't use as much as everybody else, so it's not too bad.
We use typically 300 ton a year, the village.
How much is a delivery? How much?
38 ton out of the
Okay.
truck. It's like $67 per ton right now.
Well, if you can get it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of places, yeah, can't even get it.
If you remember when it used to be $25 a ton.
Yeah.
They've got their work cut out for them tonight.
Oh, for sure.
They'll probably stop around 9:30 or 10.
It's supposed to be like 40 at 1 in the morning.
Being lazy.
Seriously, it's weird.
I usually tell them 9 o'clock
Yeah.
is the
Yeah, that's-
break-off time. After that, because they got to be back in like 4 in the morning, so. And, you know, our streets are, it's not like the main highway 55, it's all 30 through the village, so
Yeah.
you can get by with some snow on the roads here. So it's always worked out well over the years. Okay, under new business, in your package, you've got a local law number 1, local law number 2. One is for the planning board, and the other is for the zoning board of appeals. I think if you look at the language on them, they're pretty much identical,
Yes.
except for that. And these local laws will, the village board of trustees of the village, enacts this law to provide for appointing alternate members of the planning board. These alternate members would serve in the event of a conflict of interest or when a permanent member is absent. Okay? This is something we need to have on record as local laws, correct, Courtney?
Yep, so the process here would be if you all approve of the way they are written, then I will advertise a public hearing for the next meeting. And then, if everything goes well then we'll vote at the next meeting.
What would be an objection?
As by law, we have to have a public
Okay.
hearing for
Very
a
good.
local law and a seeker,
Sure.
oddly enough.
Okay. And a
Um,
seeker, okay.
Now, when we did the zoning board of appeals, we had, Fritz was our alternate, I believe. Do we not have one right now, or are there no alternates, or why this? Just to get it in record?
Right, so, it's not, we do need more members, we need more alternates, no members, but
Okay.
it's not about that as much as it is about their role.
Okay.
Is it all, the way the law is written now in state is that as an alternate cannot participate in the meeting unless it's a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Like somebody has to recuse himself.
Yep.
So if only 2 permanent members show up and you can't open a meeting, even though the alternate's there, they can't step in, make a third and open the
I see.
meeting.
Okay.
So it gives the alternates a little bit more ability to step in and do
Okay.
more.
Yeah, good.
Which to me would make sense.
Yeah,
It should
for sure.
be the way it was before.
Yeah, okay.
Instead of saying you gotta come back, you know, a month from
Yeah.
now, when we got another member.
Yeah, makes sense, okay.
What's a seeker?
It's an environmental thing to make sure that you're not disturbing any environment, land or trees or air, yeah. But I don't know, but yes, every local law needs to have one, even though it has nothing to do with whatsoever.
Okay.
Do you need motions for this? or
Yes.
just- You do?
Yeah, just a motion to schedule a public hearing for
Local
local
law
law
one
1
and
and 2 for March 12th.
Okay, I'll make a motion to schedule a public hearing for local law 1, local law 2 for March 12th, 2025.
Okay. Motion's been made, is there a second? Heard that, all in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Do you just take the
Oh,
language right out of?
Yeah, so I just do want to mention, Renee put both these together for us, and so I want to thank her for that. She did a great job. But yes, so she used a few other examples that we've got from different places and wrote it up the way,
Do you use AI at all?
I don't, not really.
ChatGPT?
Not too much.
You could put a document like this in there and ask it to review it.
Mhm.
It'll tell you like what other municipalities are doing or other language changes. Pretty interesting.
That is cool, really interesting. So you want to do that, so regular meeting at 6:30, so you want to do that, public hearing has to be for
Is it a half hour?
half hour, so.
6 o'clock. Public hearing at 6.
6 is good for me.
6 o'clock public hearing, 6:30.
6:30 will be the meeting afterwards.
Okay.
Okay? All right. The next thing under new business is Hickory Park address. We'd like to give the park an address for the farmer's market. It'd be nice to have an address there. The problem we've got is the house is there. There's no room to put a number on the park because of the way the numbers are now.
The nursing home, the funeral home is 51 and Howard's is 53. So there's no room to.
Can't add an A or a B into it?
No. No, the sheriff said that they don't want to do that anymore, and that at some point in the near future, there'll be a new 911 system, and anybody who has a half or an A is going to be completely redone.
Oh, lovely.
Well,
So,
you have to redo everything.
yeah, right? So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Todd, by the way, you're gonna have an address change here.
Nice.
Todd, at least you're near the end of the street, so if you gotta change your numbers.
Well, the problem is that everybody else on the other side, you
Yeah.
and
Yeah, all
everybody
the
else.
numbers are handed out because my house is the last one built there because
Yeah.
it was an empty lot. My neighbor's 75 and I'm 75A. Yeah.
Well, who knows how long it'll be, but
Yeah.
as of right now,
So if they change it for us, they would change the Hickory Park to 53. Then everybody after that would have had to change their address, so we would have 53.
That's awful.
Yeah, so we don't want to do
we
that.
don't wanna do
So
that.
there's no solution
So
to
what's
getting
the
a
alternative?
physical
You
address
can't
for
name
the
the
park?
park,
So
the park
they-
entrance like our street name?
So that's exactly it, yes.
Ah.
So that's what they came back at and suggested, is the driveway into the park will become a street.
Okay.
So we have to come up with a name for that. Hickory Park,
Hickory Lane.
So he said because of the type of street it is, it has to be a way or a place.
And what's the trigger for that? How do you?
There's some criterias, because it's basically a dead end, and
Oh.
So does that, this is out there, but does that mean it has to be plowed? Are we responsible for plowing it? If it's a street then?
Which you do anyway. right?
yeah, we keep it clean
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
but
Just say, I'm just
we
wondering.
do kind of sometimes, we don't always plow
Yeah.
it, but
Okay, anyway, I like weight myself.
Yeah.
the guys are over there doing the track,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
anyways.
Oh.
one thing he said was, do not name it One Park Place, because there is a handful of other One Park places within the radius of here, and one of them is Monroe County, and if, we're so close to Monroe County, if a cell phone connects with a cell tower in Monroe County, it could send them to the wrong One Park Place.
Mhm.
So we have Hickory Park Way or Hickory Park Place.
Could it just be Hickory Way? or Hickory
I like
Place?
Hickory Park Way better than,
Yeah,
Just Hickory.
Sounds good.
Way's fine, 1 Hickory Way. Right, do we have to have a number?
Yeah, it'll be a number, yeah, it'll probably be one, yeah. And yeah, whether it be Hickory Way or Hickory Park Way, I would just consider.
Parkway's
Because people always refer to that as Bergen Park, right? And nobody really knows that it's Hickory Park.
Yeah, I've had people say, where's Hickory Park?
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to get the farm market going, and, they're gonna name it, what, Hickory Harvest?
yeah.
Hickory Harvest,
Farm
Virgin
Market.
Harvest,
Hickory, yeah, Hickory Farm Market,
no, Virgin
Virgin Harvest Market.
Harvest Market.
Yeah.
Harvest Market.
Oh, it doesn't have the word
So no
Hickory.
hickory.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, yeah, so that's up to you guys.
I like Hickory Way myself.
I'm good with Way.
Hickory Way or Hickory Park Way?
I don't know, I think of a parkway, I think of a long.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be confusing.
I think of the Ontario Parkway, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Hickory Way?
Hickory Way.
Hickory Way. Hickory Parkway? Hickory, I don't know, Hickory Way.
I don't think you say
Hickory Way.
Parkway, someone will
Yeah.
think you're getting
Short.
Parkway.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah, I didn't think about that before, and you're right. it's-
Unless you went
Hickory
with
Park
place.
Place.
Hickory
Right.
Park Place.
Hickory
Yeah.
Park Place.
But not Parkway.
right,
Yeah, Park Way would be
Your
bad.
19-year-old drivers are gonna
yeah.
be zooming around their track.
Yeah.
Hickory Way, is that what it's gonna be?
Yeah, I like that.
Sounds
We
good.
need
What was
a,
the other option? Terrace? Way or terrace?
Way or place.
Place.
Oh.
do we need a
Yeah.
motion?
Yeah, we should allow it.
I make a motion that we name the entrance to Hickory Park, #1 Hickory Way.
No second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. I do have one other thing here. I've got a new member that we have to vote on to join the zoning board of appeals for an appointment, David Makowski. We have a vacancy there, and I'd like to get David in on that zoning board of appeals. So we need a nomination and an approval.
You would
Appoint.
appoint him and then
They have to okay it though.
Yeah.
And this was for which?
Zoning.
board?
Zoning board of appeals.
Oh, okay. This is the one that you guys said doesn't get any action.
Yeah, I would like to appoint David Makowski.
Oh.
This is not an alternate, he's,
He's a full-time.
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 okay.
And I just need board approval to do that.
I don't know, so.
I don't know.
He ran against Bob in the last election.
Oh.
He's big into the American Legion
Oh,
here.
Dave, my neighbor.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was his last name.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
So you need a
That's the
motion or just an approval? Like all in favor or do you need a motion?
Motion in a second.
Okay, I will motion this, or I'll make a
Makowski
motion
to
to appoint David Makowski to the zoning board.
Okay, your second.
I was,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And that's two I've gotten on in the last 2 months. So if anyone here knows of anybody else, please spread the word that we could use another alternate.
for the zoning.
Yes, we need one alternate for the planning board and one for the zoning board of appeals.
Okay.
So it has to be
Just
ready
making sure I
for-
understand
it
the
still has to be
criteria.
ready to
Yeah.
meet.
Oh, okay.
But any,
Yes.
and if you know someone that's interested, please get a hold of them, ask them, and have them get a hold of myself, or Courtney, and we can give them, specifics, of what's involved, and hopefully fill those two. Next, we've got some fire department member approvals.
So are these, they're not adults, right? Are these the young junior members or? Are they
I don't
young?
believe so. No,
They are now.
Jimmy Star was his
Isabel's 24.
30s.
Oh, because Grace is only.
That's JC, their son.
That's what I was gonna say, I thought these
Okay.
were all the kids of all, like,
Maybe.
the Donafrios are the kids, right? Isabel Best is the kid, Emma's the kid, James is the kid, Grace is the kid.
Yeah, they're all that old now.
Like they're 18
They're all-
or
They
over?
went
Yeah.
through the program and now they're eligible.
Okay, so they're not, I don't even think
Bring
Grace
them.
is 18.
But there's also junior numbers.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
wondering.
there's.
Well, I don't know too, sometimes they have an explorer post at the fire departments.
That's what I was
They do.
wondering, but it
Yeah.
says
So they
background
would
checks
be-
for.
Yeah, that is what's happening.
But I don't think they would come to us for a sport. I think they're like, so if they're under a certain age, then they can, they have limited duties, or they can still come to fires and do certain things, but they can't like, full on.
Training, yeah,
So that's probably the most
Okay.
specific. They're all making, yeah.
We are so blessed at this fire department.
Yeah.
They have members want to come on board. Can't think of them all.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to accept these members to the Bruce Fire Department?
I'll make a motion to accept the members from the planning board.
Is there a second?
Awesome.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Courtney, budget
Yay.
proposals.
Fun start. It should be fairly quick because with the sewer, it's a lot smaller than the general, but the numbers and most of things are very, very similar. I'm just gonna had it since for months and Cheryl reviewed it and kind of know where we're at. through the things that are different, that are changed. For revenue under sewer rent, increased that to 465 due to the increase that we put in place a couple years ago. See that, plus the additional rent from the new companies and more usage going in. So we're seeing a little bit of increase there, which is good. We need it quite badly. The sewer service for other governments, that is the money that we receive from the school to receive their waste. We have a contract with them, 10-year contract, and the cost is figured by taking, well, there's a calculation. Here's the calculation on
From the school.
the school. They piped it up, piped all the way down.
How many pumping stations are there?
One,
Just out there.
One at the
their
school.
location.
Is that right?
force main.
Well, it's all downhill.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
They get a little deeper.
That's good to know. I'm thinking like 4 or 5, you know? Wow. Okay.
So, and then the other revenues are all obviously.
That's a question. They clean out that pool, do they pump that chlorine water into our sewer, or do they throw it out field? 'Cause that's a hell of a lot of volume.
We talked to them,
Take it all at
we
once.
talked to them about it, Matt, a few years ago. We had a pretty frank discussion, because we wanted their sheets that have all kinds of.
Yeah, the inspections.
For all the chemicals they may have, because it was just, we had a couple issues up with the plant, some bad ones, and then one that happened every year with the plant. And it just happened to coincide every year with kids being in school. You know, there's no proof, there's nothing, but it was just too convenient. So we were just asking that, I think NSR sheets.
Material soup and gun sheets.
Yes. So we finally sat down and talked to them and got those sheets. They had them in seconds. I'm not saying that it was them, but it just,
Did we request that they
So,
ditch it on
so when we talked to them about it, they did have another way of, I can't remember that, but they did have another way
Oh my God, yeah.
How often do you read?
Probably about that. Yeah, after swim season, my son swims for years.
Yeah.
After swim season, and then it's after the summer.
Does it ever get that as well?
Yeah, it's a lot of volume.
For the Gilbrand.
Yep.
I mean, do we take the sewer from the Gilbrand out?
No, this is school.
For the school. Under the administration, all those GLs are identical to GLs that are in the general. They're all wages or contractuals. Really nothing there from general. Pay percentages are a little different than those other building operations. Looking at building operations, buildings CE, see where we spent quite a bit in 23, 24. It's almost 17,000, which is way over. That was kind of a, so that was around the time where we had first the two major water leaks over there, and we put in a new gas line. So that's why we went so far over. All the cost of having the water line re-ran and dug out and reinstalled. And that also gave us the benefit of more water pressure in the screw press building, which actually made the screw press run better. So that was why that went so far over, and that's why I'm not
And the other ones that say personal service, those are like labor, right?
Yes, that's what the pay lines, yeah, that's what we get labor with pay line. Through all of that, again, those are just pay lines, everything is, you know, all the actuals are pretty well in the ballpark of, there's a central garage, which is 1640.4, that was a little, you know, a little bit over, but that was because, the generator, we got issues with the generator that needed to be repaired. We have a generator at the sewer plant that can run the whole plant in case the power goes out. So during the had a mouse get in there and make a nest and chew through wires and all that sort of stuff. Not very good. There's other problems too. We found it. Insurance, that's you know, same as general. That's our insurance thing. Contingency, equipment fund, all, you know, same as before. Under sanitation, pay line. The one I wanted to mention is under sanitation, 8130.4, treatment disposal. In 2023-24, we spent, you know, quite a bit over. It was 117,544.56. There's a few things again that were that occurred that I didn't want me to go over, but I just wanted to kind of bring to your attention that I did increase that line because the 3-year average is starting to creep up there. But I wanted to kind of show everybody, I printed it out. It's 9 pages. Goes along. This is electric. So the average electric bill, monthly electric bill for the sewer plant is $2,500. So you're talking about $30,000 a year for electricity up there. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't make much difference if it's what time of year it is. The heat really isn't the problem, it's the blowers and all the other machinery up there. And then the chemicals themselves that we use to treat is about $45,000. And then on top of that, we have testing. We have to send to ALS to have, you know, lots of things, a lot of different things tested. Regular testing for our state DEC licenses and reporting. And then there's always, if you look at my report under sewer, all the things I broke down just in the last month, those things come up. Sometimes they're more and sometimes less, but usually they're a lot. The Chris bought the breakers for the lift station that I mentioned earlier, and it was a little box, a small box, had 10 of them in it, and it was like $298. 10 little breakers. Yeah, so anything I'd go, it's a money pit, it always will be, but I just want to point out that to you guys to see why it's so much.
There's no alternative.
No, yeah, I wish there was. The electricity, running the blowers and the pumps and all that, there's no alternative. And the chemicals, unless the state drops its requirements, which will never happen.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Does every village have a wastewater treatment plant of some sort?
I would think so. Every village probably does in the city. And then they, when they just recently made all this, put UV in, even though we were already below their requirements on that, but we still had to put it in, spend over $175,000 to put UV in for. But anyway, that's steady for you. Okay. So that's the treatment and disposal. And then on to employee benefits, state retirement, that's all exactly the same as general, all the same. the percentage breakdowns are a little different, but they are all. Down to debt service.
I got a question, hang on.
Sure.
Disability insurance from $25 to $400, what's the reason for that?
I think our disability insurance went way down
Previously?
previously, yeah, and I just left it at 400 because it's a small amount. I just imagine at some point it'll go up, and yeah, it's a small policy because. I'm kind of going fast, but we went through the general line by line, and it's all very, very similar. But if you have any questions or want me to go through it, you have to.
I'm surprised medical insurance didn't go up more for the next year, because it just seems like at our office, it just keeps climbing so fast.
Kind of the beauty of ours is locked in through the Teamsters for how many years? 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
Which is nice for budgeting purposes.
Yeah.
So they give us exactly what our premiums are going to be for 3 years.
Okay.
And the Teamsters, because they're huge nationwide, they kind of dictate the costs, and so they keep it down. And you don't see the big 10-15% increases where everybody else does. We see 3 to 4% increases every year. So yeah, and it's still like the old-fashioned Cadillac plans, I guess they call them, with the $20-25 deductibles, not the high deductible plans.
That's something.
Yeah, and
In commercial world.
And years ago, we looked at the high deductible plans, and I charted out. Initially, in the first little while, we'd save money in the high deductible plans, but if you include the 10 to 15% increases every year with those plans over 5-6 years, then it'd be actually more expensive. And having the ability, and they don't give us rates for those high deductible plans until January or December, and this 3 years ahead of.
Do employees pay towards it?
Yes, the employee pays 28% of the premium, which is in normal for a government agency, that's really high, 28%. But out in the real world, it's average, I would say. Under debt service on bond and interest on bond, you can see where the interest went way up, and that is because yesterday I signed documents for the go from short-term financing to long-term financing, and that's what we're going to be paying from here out. The bond I signed yesterday kind of made my stomach upset because it's 35 years long and it won't be done until 2016. Wow, that is
I'll
just.
be up at St. Bridget's.
I'll be routed in
That's exactly what we'll do there.
Yeah, nobody listening to this will have probably be alive by then. Pretty crazy.
By then, that bond will cost 4 times the money.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Crazy, crazy quick.
So that's that. Any questions? There's a narrative under in your packet too with the breakdown like that. There's not a narrative for the electric budget. It's just a little too convoluted for that. So the electric budget is a whole different beast to the electric, to this general and sewer budget. The electric budget is an enterprise fund, which means we are allowed to profit in this budget. But it's also a lot harder because we're subject to a lot of different variables that are out of our control. Last winter was a very mild winter, so our revenue was down a little bit. But this winter, it's been a really harsh winter, so it's going to be up there. We're going to make a lot more revenue. So we have swings like that, and I can remember one of the first years I was here, it was a horrible spring and a horrible summer for growing, and Bondwell did very, very little production. And you would not believe how much revenue we lost, because they didn't operate as much as they would normally. So really, when it comes to this, it's really best guess and, 3 to 5 year averages. Under revenue for residential, we've seen an increase in last, the 23-24, but I like to be a little conservative. So I only increased that to 525. Residential rural houses outside the village, I increased that a little bit, but not all the way up to what we have been seeing. The big changes in revenue are going to be the commercial rural and the industrial. The commercial rural is mostly the industrial park. In the industrial, Oxbow will go under the industrial line. And I didn't want to put too much of an increase in there because I don't know, and I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of production use for Oxbow until pretty darn close to June of 2026. Because if they don't, we're not looking at really getting it up and running by January of 26, then.
You're correct.
So
So it'll be 4 months in there.
Yeah, they might have 3-4 months of usage, so I didn't want to put too much of that in here, and we can find out. But we are seeing a good increase in usage of the commercial, rural, and industrial. So increased it, but not. And if you do notice, under commercial rural, under the 2024-2025 budget, it says 4,000. That's a typo. It's a couple zeros short. That should be 400,000. I noticed that this afternoon after I printed it all out.
So then the variances are inside.
Variance is wrong.
Yeah, that's correct. Municipal accounts is what the village pays to electric through our monthly payments for our electric bills. And the miscellaneous revenue, interest, decrease in interest because of the interest rates going down. Under appropriations, electric purchases. Yeah, so I increased that a bit from previous years based on the last 3 year averages and projections of going forward to 2 million. The recs and zecs, well, those will continue to go up, and anyway, it gives us kind of a forecast as to what those are going to be. The recs, renewable energy credits, are recs and zecs are in everybody's electric bill across the whole entire state. No matter who your provider is, they're in there. The recs are for solar and wind projects and charging stations and those kind of projects. The zero emission credits, those are for mostly nuclear power plants, keeping them afloat. Now, so there's, in this budget, you'll see where it says depreciation, and I put them in the budget, and then later in the budget, I take them out of the budget to show you more, a better picture of what profit is going to be, because the depreciation is really just a paper number, and it really is not expense. So I do add it back in later to give you a better picture of where we're at.
Where would the transformers and stuff show up that we have to get?
Yep, those are, I'll get to, if you go to the very last page.
Okay, well, never mind.
Under asset additions,
Yeah, okay.
that's all in
Okay,
there.
thank you.
And when it comes to the project, well, that project is kind of under a different budget.
Okay.
Because it's being funded with a financing, with a down anticipation note, a ban, and then long-term financing will have a separate
Okay.
GL. a separate fund altogether.
Okay, thank you.
So under distribution expenses, kind of feel like you just hand that off to Joe. He'd be better to explain that. And really, it's just, this is probably the biggest area of guessing
Yeah.
what we'll use.
Kind of, I said this before, you know, we don't have a crystal ball in front of us to really know what's gonna happen in the ensuing budget here, so you make the best, you know, assumption you can, and you come up with these numbers, but you see supervision, we do not have a DPW superintendent to oversee the electric, so it's a zero there. Engineering, it's kind of a generic $10,000 in there. We don't know what we're gonna, something goes in the substation that our guys can't handle internally, and some, you know, the equipment, we have an engineer that comes in to perform that work. So it's kind of in there, and if you need it, it's there. Hopefully you don't need it. Substation labor is just the guys, anything that they do inside the substation. There's weekly checks in the substation, there's maintenance during the course of the year in the substations, any of their labor. Operation of overhead lines, that's pretty much, yeah, it's, you know, these are all expense lines here. If you're building lines, it's a capital improvement, and it's a 300 account. It goes into the 300s. But these are all repair expenses. So it's day-to-day work when they have to go up on the lines and fix anything. If a line falls down, they have to go fix it. If a lightning arrestor blows out, they have to go fix it. So anything up on the poles that they have to repair. So it's all repair work.
It was a lot of actions, 135 versus another budget of 60. So you just started.
Yeah, because it's hard to say, because that one, next year at this time, when we look at the budget, that could be $20,000. Because they didn't have any work to do on it. You know, if we did an ice storm, it's going to breaks, or, you know, we spend a lot of time on it, so you just never know. Maybe something happened to the substation, and that line is so in the world, nothing goes wrong, and none of this is good, but we just have to kind of guess as to where it and officially, we don't actually need a budget for Liz. That's practice.
Well, we need to run the lines to Oxford?
They're already in.
Good.
When we rebuilt the system,
Yeah.
we put that circuit in, knowing that someday that would be there. So it's already all in. Miscellaneous, that's just catch-all, really. Remove and reset meters. There again, if they have to go to someone's house or a business and pull the meter out for any reason, or new installs, say they have to replace meters. Again, pull it out and put new ones in on the customer premises. Service on consumer property. It's kind of another catch-all. Again, this is crystal ball down here, and try to put something, like Courtney said, you just try to put something there to cover ourselves.
Oh, the whole section is that.
Repair the distribution substation. Okay, that could be anything from fixing the equipment in there to fixing an air conditioner. We have to keep those building control houses air conditioned during the summer. Storage batteries. Both our stations have batteries in them. That's how some of the equipment trips out, closes back in. So there's battery units in there, battery storage. Basically, there's enough, if one of the batteries goes bad, $350 to buy another battery to replace it. Repair overhead conductors, same thing, lines come down, you gotta go up and splice or whatever. Same with the underground conduits. If you're digging up something, you say you hit an underground conduit, you gotta replace it. Repair the overhead transformers, we don't ever repair transformers. I mean, if they go, we replace them. All our transformers have been replaced in recent years. We're in great shape. So,
What do you do with those when you take them out of service, Joe?
you have to generally have them tested for PCBs, okay, but all the ones we've got now, or even the ones we got rid of when we bought, whatever we bought, they come with a certification that they're clean of PCBs. But prior to that, when I first was here, we always had to have sampling done on them, send the samples in, and then you'd have to have somebody come in and they were certified to remove their PCBs, and it's very expensive to get rid of that stuff too. So all of our equipment now is clean. So.
I know what PCB is, pretty circular, is that what PCB is here?
No,
Oh.
this is the thing they put in the chemical, the oil. Yeah, they use it all the time in transformers for heating, for cooled transformers, and for the dielectric strength in them, so they used to use PCBs.
So things go in.
No. Bad stuff, cancer causing. We can test customer meters by TSC ruling. We have to test so many meters a year, so we got to go around and we have our own meter tester. We plug into the houses, we can good readout and everything. So for accuracy, then you have to split it to TSC. Of course, you got the depreciation back on here. That's for that section. Each section has a depreciation. Street lighting, repair the street lights, $3,000. We got a lot of street lights in the village. They've all been converted to LEDs, so they're all really modern. Every now and then the drivers go in and we have to go up and replace the drivers inside them. Even the ones downtown here, they were expensive to replace. Very, very expensive. Ornamental plates.
I'm
But-
driving through this really, all of their lights were flickering.
Oh, yeah, the LEDs, drivers. We were getting that here at Christmas time, around the holidays, and we had the reefs up on ours, and the light would flash off the snow on the reefs, and it would sense light, so it was doing that. So that could be what's happening there, the snow is dying.
Yep, thank you, Joe. Under consumer accounting, meter reading. Our meter reading is a lot easier and faster than it used to be, and that's Joe specifically about that. Joe used to run around with a pad of paper and we'll read every single meter visually.
Going from the dogs.
But now we have our hand count, it's like that big, and they just drive around the village, and it takes less than an hour, and they all read.
From the street?
Yep.
Even if it meters in the back?
Oh,
Yeah,
Cool.
the other day, they had one of the best, so, on a really clear day, it was cold and crisp, they went outside the door, and they were, I think Matt said they were able to read like 60% of the village just right from here.
Oh, my God, that's great.
Yeah. But that's kind of unusual, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just happened to be what,
It is.
happened to work out, but they still drive up and down pretty much every street, and then.
What's the technology? Is it Bluetooth or what?
It's,
yeah, I don't know. All I hear is the beep, 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 beep. You can hear them all coming in.
Oh, yeah?
all the
Oh,
data
my
points.
God, that's neat.
Wow.
so they all send the signal out,
Yeah.
and then this
Wow.
thing picks them up, and
Cool.
then Renee plugs it into the computer, and it all
Downloads.
downloads right to our system,
Oh, so
or
nice.
everything's
Very
there,
nice,
so
very
the
nice.
amount of time and effort that is.
You used to have to put all that by hand, now it's just
Yeah. Oh my God.
instantaneously.
That's fantastic.
You know what's amazing too? Is the meters that are in the schoolhouse apartments. If you've ever been in that basement, it's like a fortress under there, concrete walls.
Mm.
It's unbelievable down there, and our reader picks those meters up in the basement,
Wow.
through that wall. It's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, and other places have the same technology, but they have a bigger antenna, they have either antenna or a bigger system. We have the handheld, but they have a bigger, so we could potentially have a antenna up on the roof and then never have to leave the office to read everything. But that costs too
That's
much,
pretty
and
cool.
it's not a big deal just to drive around with
That's
it.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Down the road, there's AMI and AMR meters. Okay, AMR is what we use. The AMI, you put those in, all the meters talk to each other. So if something goes out, it sends a signal right back to like the office, and even from the office, you can shut a meter off.
Mm.
You can shut that customer right off. We don't have that with our system, but that's the way it's going. They put some, all around, say, the village, they would have them up on a pole, they would have these units that read, you know, they pick up all the impulses from all the meters. And you can tell if somebody's opened up the meter, you can tell if it's been tampered with, you can shut them off. It's amazing, but it's expensive. But
Yeah, well, it's-
that's the way most of the systems are going now.
Customer billing and accounting, that is Renee's pay line. Jobbing, that is when we go out and do work for, let's say we do work for Oxbow.
Norterra.
Usually is where we do the work. General office expense, the first line is mayor and trustees pay. According to my pay, the executive department, that's kind of like the contractual for everybody, it's just one line here. Treasurer, that's Barb's pay. Law department, that's just a one line for law and for attorney, basically. General office expense, that's just kind of a big catch-all, and I printed this out just to kind of example. There's been a lot of lines for all these things, but it wasn't necessary for the public service report or the AFR. So this line, if we go to, like, say, the sewer budget, and you see all the lines for central communications, central storeroom, all those lines, all that stuff is consolidated into general office expense in one line for general. So their share of the Time Warner cable bill, or Toshiba, because they pay for their part of the office, right? So they have to pay for part of the copier, part of our machines and all that. So, you know, they pay a percentage of all that, so.
Who's they?
Electric,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
This particular.
Yeah,
Everything's
so
split up three
everything,
ways.
everything is split up 3 ways. So electric has to pay their share, and everything goes in here from their share of cleaning the office, the copier, the Frontier bill, the postage stamp, buying the envelope, mailings, all that goes in. So this is one big catch-all, and I have it here if you're interested in seeing all those things. Expense, insurance is the same. Regulatory commission, that's another one of our pet peeves here. Regulatory commission, about, what, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, Joe?
Maybe
The
18.
state decided that they wanted to charge
Utilities.
all the utilities, they call it 18A assessment, and it was supposed to be for 3 years because they had a little crunch, and it'll just get them over the hump, and it'll only be for 2-3 years. And so, you know,
15 years later.
Like through 18s.
Yeah, so here we are, still paying after all these years, and that's that cost.
Hmm.
And it varies every year, so it depends on, it depends on how much power we buy and need to sell.
And it gets paid in state, did you say?
Yeah. Another tax. Sick vacation buyouts, that's the same as general and sewer, but that's all lumped in together in one line. And you have retirement, workers' comp, health insurance, social security, educating and training. They have a lot more training than everybody else, of course. They go to Fairport to train, so it's a little bit more. They're doing 2 to 3 classes, but they do other trainings and whatnot. That's the money to cover that. I have the appreciation. All right, so on the very, very bottom line, and I don't, miscellaneous expense transferred, you see that's in quotes, so it's a negative number. And that's a negative number because it's an intentional putting money back into the budget. That's, for a really great explanation, I like to have you probably better come in the office and have a long drawn out discussion of how that all works. Basically, because of the way the work orders are and the way the guys are paid through the work orders, we take 40% of their total pay and put it back in the budget.
So it's like revenue.
Yeah. So because we took it out somewhere, we counted it for somewhere else, we're putting it back.
Okay.
So.
And the New York State retirement, is that, did you talk about that on the last one? I feel like I remember something, but that increases a lot?
Yes, it can. New York State requirement, they give us a pretty good notice of what it's going to be. They give us an estimate, and then like 6 months later, they give us a better estimate, and then they say, okay, here's what you actually need to pay. So, but it does change depending on who we have, how much they paid, how well they're doing, the state pension itself is doing. There was a time, when I first got here, when the pension system was doing not that great, so it went way up. This is actually a lot lower than it used to be. And, our liability for retirement is a lot less than it used to be. So those continue. Under interest or long-term debt and principal on debt, that is payments for vehicles. We don't actually have a bond there. And we shouldn't have, next year we'll probably see band interest in there. But for right now, those are for the vehicles that we purchased. The bucket truck went off, so that's just for digger derrick.
Mhm.
The pilot, 58,000. That's what we talked about last month. That the electric sends to general. To answer your question, Bob, the assets under asset additions,
Mhm.
300 accounts Joe talked about.
Mhm.
That's work the guys do that adds.
It's $42,000 in the line transformers.
Yep, you see that.
Those are the 300 accounts that I was talking about.
So every year I give them a number. Usually, it's usually 150, but I moved to 175 for buying equipment and do projects. And if you look at the sheet that I gave everybody, that's from Nick outlining what he plans on doing with each, all that money.
Got it.
All the projects, all the meters, the buying the transformers and stuff like that. It's all listed there.
Okay.
So, so that those assets also get plugged back in. If you just look down there, fixed assets budget and work orders, right under the 50,000 pilot. So that's where that money gets accounted for in one lump sum. But that's what the asset addition, the 300 accounts are in the the breakdown. So with total revenue, total appropriations, and then with the depreciation added back in, I have a projected profit of 113,724.47.
And then where does that profit go?
It'll go into the unappropriated fund balance.
Which is already large, isn't it?
It's good, yeah. It's not, we were down to one point, 6-8 years ago. We purchased the squirt boom, and then we did a big project at Liberty Pumps, and we paid all with cash, and so it drained us. And because our electric bills are so much, we were actually cash flow wise in the negative and had to borrow money from the general fund for probably a good 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So I still feel like we're a little low where we should be. So once we get up there, but then we'll have that extra funds for if we do get up about 750,000 is where I'd like to stay with the unappropriated fund balance in electric, just for the cost of things. You know, if we lose a big transformer, we have to buy a new one. That's, you know, really expensive. But anything after that, or if the board decides we can cut back on that and add that and put it towards the substation construction, to keep those payments lower in the future.
You can see under 101,359, there's a big dollar amount on there. It's $40,000. What we need to do there is to get a permit from the DOT to bore under 33A up there, 33, to get another line into the industrial park. The only way to do it is to bore. It's expensive. But we need that other conduit in there so we can pull all the lines in there for reliability. So the big thing, we're gonna have to get a permit, put it out for bid to a contractor to direct bore that underneath that road. We can't go overhead there. I wish we could. It'd be a lot cheaper. National Grid's got lines on the other side of the road. It just isn't doable, so.
Good job, Court.
Thank you.
Very nice.
If you have any questions, ask, go with them later, can you call, email, whatever. So I would like the board to vote to make this the tentative budget. It's a procedural thing that really haven't done in the past too much, but it is considered tentative budget. And
What
anyway,
does that do for you?
so it's kind of the unofficial, official budget, so it can be changed at any time between now and the time of passing.
And they'll have to have a public hearing
Yeah.
for that. When will that be?
So usually we do it the meeting,
May.
April, May, sorry,
April?
April, yeah. It's gotta be passed before May 1st.
Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to adopt these budgets tentatively?
I would make a motion to adopt these budgets tentatively until they're presented at a public hearing in May.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Like I said, you know, we can change anything still, so.
Yep.
Look them over, and if something catches your eye or questions, get a hold of Courtney. We're here for privilege of the floor, so I'll entertain is there anything else before I close? No? I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Very nice.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's hope our car's not full of snow.